2021. Like most of our graduates and participants, he was facing significant time, 24 years. I see him already smiling over there. In December 2021, 3 months after entering drug court, he shared that 7 months earlier, he took his last shot of heroin, hoping to never wake up again. Thankfully, his wish didn't come true. In court that day, he reflected, comparing how he was feeling that day with the last time he used, and he shared he was grateful for his life. He committed that day to working on being a better friend, father, son, employee. Robert Hanson's journey to becoming a better man was not easy, for sure. In February of 2021, he came into court on Thursday. We always have drug court on Thursday, and shared that he had lost his cousin on Monday, was denied visits with his children on Tuesday, and had just learned he had another cousin on ventilator due to COVID. A tremendous amount of loss for anyone, let alone someone who was working so hard to not turn to drugs. Robert shared that it was during that week he realized life is going to show up. Stay on course or you'll throw everything away. He said it was the first time in his life he'd weathered the storm without using. I think that was my first glimpse into Robert Hanson, the wordsmith and leader. I don't think he recognized it in that moment, the power his words would have for others. But don't take my word for it, take his fellow participants' word for it. They honored him with the words of the week 8 different times. In March 2022, Robert completed the Recovery Coach Academy. He only needed 500 volunteer hours to become a coach, which I understand he's actually completed. In court, it was obvious that a light bulb had turned on for him. He talked about thinking he only cared about himself, and being surprised to learn that he actually cared about others. Of course, there were setbacks along the way for Robert. In April 2022, he had to work hard to get himself back on track. He shared he had become complacent with his recovery. He was allowing the difficult things in his life to dictate his path, forgetting the tools he'd learned to come as far as he had come. At his Phase 4 advancement, he spoke about the tools he'd acquired since entering drug court. He talked about picking up the phone to ask for help and trusting others. That was a constant theme with him, trusting others, learning to trust others. Learning how to be an adult, honesty and accountability, having a routine, and maintaining balance in his life. In drug court, there's a lot of talk about trusting others, trusting your network to be there for you, trusting that confiding in people is okay. But participants must also learn to trust themselves, to develop their self-confidence. Robert's case manager, Carlos Torres, talked about the transition of Robert into a confident person. He described that Robert would set up Zoom meetings with his sponsor, employer, therapist, case manager, significant other, guy at 7-Eleven, because he didn't believe he could make decisions for himself. As he progressed in his recovery, 5 phone calls a week to help decide what to do when he started became every other day phone calls. Now it's phone calls to update Carlos on the decisions he's made on his own. Robert talked about how step 12 is his favorite step. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. He's done just that. He volunteers with Arise and Flourish. He speaks at schools, sharing his stories with middle and high school age kids, talking about the cycle of addiction and telling them it's okay to ask for help. He hosts a bonfire meeting at his sober house. Robert described how helping others is fulfilling his purpose in life. You've done it, and you continue to do it. Congratulations. We look forward to seeing what you do.
I hope don't nobody have nowhere to be by no certain time. first and foremost, everything goes to God. You know, that's what wakes me up each day. You know, like you heard from Judge Smith, April 18th, 2021, I wanted to take my own life. And I tried to take my own life. And my God seen a bigger purpose for me. At the time, I didn't know why, I questioned why. But I think he's starting to reveal it. I got a lot of people to shout at us about 2.5 pages, so hopefully Judge Dwyer, my favorite number is 24. You gave me 24 years suspended.
Come on.
I just never said anything about it. To my attorney and Miss Casafranca, I want to thank them for getting me into this program, because without them it wouldn't be possible. Judge Smith, you made an important call to save my life. You called Joel because of a comment I made in court one day, and the team rallied around me. I never thought I would stand up here and thank an officer for locking me up. But Officer Crow in the back. Had a long talk with me on the way to the jail, and it definitely changed my way of thinking. I have a friend, Tracy. She took me to treatment in 2020. That's really where this journey had started, and I still wasn't ready. I wanted to be my own scientist and go back out for a few more months, and I turned into that picture that was up there. The entire treatment team for drug court on this side and over at OAS, none of this is possible without any of you guys. And a big shout out to Aaron, Reggie, and Jeff. That meeting that day saved my life. Joel, I get to you on this. To the fellow participants and past graduates, there's been a lot of ups and downs in this journey for me. You guys know it. You know, and you guys have been there throughout all of it. And, you know, a lot of you guys have had my back, and I appreciate it. To the staff from Lawrence Court, thank you. Heather used to be there, Brianna, Kevin, Mr. Gary, who's also here, and Tony. When I lost my parental rights in November of 2021, and I walked back in that door, you guys were right there waiting. To the Avery Road staff, thank you. You know, I came in 148 pounds, I left out of there 210 pounds. So that lets you know how they feed you over there. Bria was my therapist in Journey. She was an amazing therapist. She helped me get through the initial situation of losing my children. Dave Johnson is also here. Dave, you were, I remember the day you started, and I knew you were going to be someone special for Avery Road, and you definitely were. Thank you, sir. Megan and Emmanuel, also from Avery Road. They run a top-notch program. Bunny and Latanya, thank you for Tree of Hope. It's definitely given me some tools to get into the recovery field. James Sutton, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for you, because the state tried to say I wasn't in treatment in 2020, when I definitely spent 5.5 months in there. So James was able to get the paperwork and send it over, so I could get out of jail and get back in Avery Road. Alex Price and Melissa Caffarelli, thank you for allowing me to be the house manager. You guys took a chance on me, and hopefully I'm not disappointed. Amy, I know you're here, and Katie, you know, thank you guys for trying to push me in the direction to hopefully one day get involved with STEER. I really appreciate it. My recovery network will be here until tomorrow if I keep listening to everybody. It's in my recovery network. Y'all know who you are. A lot of you guys are here. Javier, I see you, Kyle. JD, I'm getting ready to shout you out here in a second. Alex, Melissa, Chip. Yeah, the list will go on my recovery network. My former colleagues at Elevate Treatment Center, thank you guys for trusting in me and believing in me. I just allowed one hot-headed situation one day to get in the way. There's two teachers I want to give thanks to, Miss Paula Cross and Heather Giovenco. They both are, teachers that request me to come back to their school and speak, and I never tell either one of them women no. JD, you're not only a friend but a brother. You set the example when I entered in this program, and I tried to follow, and I think I did. So thank you. To the alumni who are still succeeding, thank you for being the example, like Vernon, Drew, Tim, Gasol, Kelly, Justin, Alex, Marcel, Melissa, Alicia. You guys have been tremendous for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now we're gonna get to some important stuff. All y'all are important, but we're gonna get deeper now. My sponsor, James. Thank you, man. You always tell me it was God that got me here, but you're definitely a big part of why I'm here. I asked you in ARCC to be my sponsor, and I told you I needed help. And you've been there. You've been there. Some things that you had me do I didn't like to do, but I did them anyway. And it's got me to the point I'm at today. Carlos, I think they said everything I was going to say. You taught me how to grow up, not question myself, make my own choices, how to set goals, achieve goals. You even taught me how to take Jen on dates. That was two of my treatment goals, to take her on dates. And we ended up going to the carnival. Oh, man. All right. To Kurt and Asia. I don't even know where to start with you, Kurt. You could have given up on me more than 5 years ago, and I gave you every reason to, and you didn't. You have been step by step with me in this process. You allowed me to cater my entire work schedule around drug court. I presented you with your own certificate today because you kept saying you felt like you were graduating, so I made you a certificate. I was going to give it to you up here, but I was told it would be appropriate. Joelle. I was going to ask Joelle to stand up, but she told me not to, so I'm not going to ask her to stand up. I couldn't have asked for a better woman, and no offense to you, man, but I just can't have a male therapist. I don't know what it is, but I couldn't ask for a better person to be my therapist. You were my therapist in 2018 when I was in Journeys. When I came to this program, that was my only request to have you as my therapist, because I knew I couldn't come in there and lie, and I knew what helped